The Chinese take their sovereignty very seriously. We don't want to impede on their sovereignty, so they'd like to pay 100% tariff. We expressed our concern for their purchases of sanctioned Iranian oil, of which they buy about 90%. We also expressed our regret that we believe that they had sold Russia about $15 billion of dual-use technologies, but the overall tone of the meetings was very constructive.
To reporters shortly after the end of the talks today, and he mentioned an extension of the pause.
And of course, we were here, in the first purpose to confirm the implementation of what was agreed in London in terms of accelerating the flow of rare earth magnets from China to U.S. companies. And then we were able to discuss further how to make sure that the entire U.S. supply chain, including those that go through third countries, could be accelerated. Thank you.
Can you give us some details on that, how long that's going to go on for?
And again, I think it was the level of momentum and the entire reordering that President Trump has done of the global trading system. So now here you have the two largest economies in negotiation. And as I've said before, and we reiterated to them, we don't want to decouple. We just need to de-risk with certain strategic industries.
And if I could just throw in another one, what do you say to lawmakers?
That China is the most imbalanced economy in modern times. And I think we are going, they're 30% of global manufacturing. They have a 2% current account surplus of global GDP, which we've never seen before, or probably not since the 1870s with the British Empire. And that's not sustainable. So the tariff levels will have quite a bit to do with that.
States and others who are concerned that concessions.
But my guess is that over time, that the other economies, developed economies, will start increasing their tariff barriers, and the global South, they just can't absorb all this Chinese production.
Secretary Bessent, you just said again that.
Right now, if you look at the numbers, we're still tracking an annual trade deficit with China. But if you extrapolate it out from the numbers we have so far it looks like it's going to be at least $50 billion smaller this year. So that's some progress already.
The biggest problem in the relationship is China's overcapacity, and that you want.
And just to be clear, Gavin, the president has discretion to change the rate depending on the circumstances that we have, et cetera. So while the snapback rate would be 34%, he of course has discretion under the law to modify that.
You've also met with the Swedish government. What topics did you discuss?
We discussed a wide range of topics. First of all, we want to thank the government for the fantastic venue here. Very, very good to be in Stockholm in July. And we discussed the EU deal with the U.S., of which the Prime Minister, the Finance Minister were very supportive.
What's your specific plan for addressing those economic?
The U.S. economy is starting to fire on all cylinders right now. We actually, in May, saw the biggest downturn in inflation in 4 years. So the U.S. economy is doing quite well. And I will tell you, rather than the talks getting more difficult, I actually think that they are getting more engaged.
Had to make in these talks so far.
What was your message to the Chinese about Russian oil? Did you tell them they're on notice, they need to start to pull back?
Well, we described, it's not just the president, what is making its way through the U.S. Senate. And hard to imagine anything could get 80 or 90 bipartisan votes in the U.S. Senate, is a bill that will give the president discretion to apply secondary tariffs on sanctioned Russian oil from, I believe it's from 0 to 500%. I believe he's used 100%. And we've heard from several of our European counterparts, NATO allies, even Canada, well, Canada is in NATO, that they will be following on that. So we would expect most of the Western alliance that has been supporting Ukraine to follow on that. So I think anyone who buys sanctioned Russian oil should be ready for this.
What was their response to that warning?
The Chinese take their sovereignty very seriously. We don't want to impede on their sovereignty, so they'd like to pay 100% tariff.